Hi guys, welcome back. Like my fancy goggles. I am trying to make pickled onions for the first time today. These aren't even like real goggles. I wanted to do something because cutting up onions will make me cry really badly, and I didn't have any like real goggles in the house, and I didn't want to go looking for any down the shop or anything. So these are actually like toy goggles from this toy tool set that Maisie has. So they don't like really seal around the edges. So I have teared up a little bit, but it's still helping. It's not as bad as if I weren't wearing them at all. Anyway, I have never made pickled onions before. I'm not a huge onion person. I don't mind them cooked in things. And I don't mind small amounts of raw in things as long as they're pretty sweet. But I'm not a big onion person. So these really, I'll probably try some, but they're really not for me. I want to make some because we have a friend, some friends, mentioned that they really like them. So I've been wanting to make some for them. And also, I recently bought a 50-pound bag of sweet onions. These are red onions that I actually bought specifically for this, but I'm going to use some sweet onions too. And anyway, so I have never made pickled onions before, but we're trying it. So I found a recipe I want to try. I saw a recipe. There was one for pickled pearl onions on the NCHFP website, and I looked at that, but it called for quite a bit of sugar, which I was a little bit hesitant to do. So also for a little bit of background, the friends that I'm making these for are Australian, so from Australia, let's put, and mentioned that Australians in general just really love pickled onions and they put them on everything. So I was like, well, you know, maybe there's a special Australian pickled onion recipe. So I googled Australian pickled onions and a recipe came up. The website name is australianonions.com. Like, that's the whole website, is a bunch of recipes that include onions. So I was like, well, that sounds like a winner. So I'm going to go ahead and try that. I'm confident in using it because the brine that it has is actually all vinegar. I mean, it has salt and sugar in it too, but there's no added water. It's just vinegar and salt and sugar. And the one that was on the NCHFP website did include some water, so I'm definitely confident that it's acidic enough and everything. So anyway, I'm going to try that recipe and I will link it. But anyway, I need to finish chopping up my onions, get my jars packed, and then I will prepare the brine. So I've got 4 pints of the red, and then I did another 4 pints of the sweet onions. Just to give you an idea for amounts, the red onions, I just bought those bagged in the store, and they were what I would call medium, and it took 5 onions to pack the 4-pint jars. The sweet onions, they were a little bigger, I would call those large, and it took 4 onions for the 4-pint jars. Not exactly 1 per jar, I mean, because it just kind of averaged out some, but, you know, just to give you an idea, if this is something you want to try, how much you might need. So now I'm getting the brine ready. The recipe on the website was for a relatively small batch, so I tripled it, which I think will be enough for the 8 pints. If not, I might have to come back and do a little bit more, but that won't be a huge deal. So what I have here is 6 cups of white vinegar, 3/4 of a cup of sugar and 6 tablespoons of canning salt. So I'm just gonna continue to stir until all of the sugar and salt is dissolved and bring it to a boil. I'm gonna process it according to the pickled onion recipe that I saw on the NCHFP website. So it said to water bath it for 10 minutes. So I have my water in my canner on the stove over low heat just so it can warm up. I don't want to bring it to a full boil, of course. I just want it fairly warm because the jars will also be hot when they go in, since the brine going into the jars is hot. So got it warming up over low heat, and while the brine and the canner are warming up, I'm going to go ahead and add my spices to the jar. So in the recipe, it actually called for you to put the spices in the brine, but I prefer to put my spices in the jars when I'm doing pickles so they get distributed more evenly. So I'm going to add about a 1/2 teaspoon of mixed pickling spices to each pint jar, and it also said to layer salt and pepper in with the onions, which I obviously did not do. I'm not going to add any additional salt, but I am just going to add a few whole peppercorns to each jar, and we'll see how they turn out with that. Alright, got the spices added and my brine is boiling, so I'm going to go ahead and add our hot brine to the jars. Then I will wipe the rims, add our lids, and get them in the canner. Alright, there they are. The red ones are really pretty, I think. Anyway, so yeah, there they are. Obviously, I will let them cool down before checking the seals and removing the rings. But it was a pretty quick and easy canning project for this afternoon. Didn't take up a lot of time, so that's nice. So yeah, anyway, I will probably take them a couple jars sometime within the next week and see how they like them. Hi again, guys. It's actually been a few weeks since I first made the pickled onions, but I did get some delivered to our friends, and I did recently get feedback. They got a chance to try them, and they said they were really good. So, for what that's worth, I honestly still have not tried them myself, but because onions aren't really my thing, but I will take their word for it. So they are Australian approved. And so anyway, yeah, thank you for watching, and let me know if you try them. See you next time.